I'm Richard Fariña. I belong to a group of paleontologists who are working in the very interesting site of the Arroyo del Vizcaíno. We are now in Sauce, a small town near this site I'm referring to, in the secondary school that gave us two places in which we've got the laboratory and the collection repository over there. In this place I'm going to show you what we do and the nature of this amazing site we are studying. The place itself is not far away from here. It's a few kilometers northeast from this very place in a region. It's a stream. Arroyo in Spanish means stream, that goes through a series of farms, of fields of production of crops that feed especially the capital city, which is only 30 kilometers down there. In that place, in a severe drought in the summer of '97, please remember those that live in the northern hemisphere, then we say summer and we mean January, right? Okay. Well, in that drought, the bottom of the stream was exposed, and there an enormous number of very big bones were found. After the collection, some of those bones were observed to have some marks that could be interpreted as cut marks. Actually studied with the microscope, the features of those marks are very similar to those that are produced by human tools. This place has already yielded over 2,000 bones of very large animals that lived here at the end of the Pleistocene, the famous South American megafauna that was, by the way, the first inspiration for Darwin and his theory of evolution by natural selection. And in many of those bones there are some of these cut marks I was mentioning. And this is very important, not only because it's an evidence of interaction between the megafauna and the humans, but of course because of the age. The problem of the colonization of human beings by human beings of the American continent is a matter of great interest. The paradigm says that humans arrived in the Americas about 15,000 years. Also was what we thought some time ago, until this site and some others showed a different panorama, a different view of that subject. Why? Because some of those cut-marked bones have been subject to radiocarbon dating, and their age is far too old, about twice as much as was accepted as the oldest human presence in the Americas. Actually, that paradigm went that 15,000 years was the oldest possible date for human presence in the America, and in this place we found bones that are 30 millennia old, 30,000 years old, twice as much or perhaps a bit more than was then accepted. Now there are other places in northeastern Brazil, in southern Chile, and one in the States. This one in the States is really very old, 130,000 years old. But this place maintains the attractive of being the most impressive amount of bones collected, at least in this country, as well as in many others in South America, with over 2,000 bones already collected. and many thousands yet to be extracted. Let's go in and show you some of those bones. Of course, those are very big animals. See, for instance, the first thing that catches the eye is this enormous femur, the thigh bone, that is about 1 meter long and very heavily built. The tibia is very large as well, very massively built, and there are vertebrae, there are ribs, there are claws, humerus. All those bones belong to giant sloths. Do you know that sloths are today 2 species are living in the present, and they are very small, a few kilos, hanging upside down from the tallest the trees in the forests of South America, Central America as well. Well, their extinct relatives are much bigger. They reached sizes of about 4 tons or 5 tons in some cases. So obviously they did not live on trees but on the ground. And look at the claws. They are really impressive, very heavily built as well. What else? Well, even large animals have small bones. Like this one is hyoids, is the bone that is in the base of the tongue, and it's got some marks. If our interpretation is right, this means that the bone was cut when extracting the tongue of a killed animal for eating, obviously, which is something that had been recorded in the gauchos back in the 18th century. And much smaller bones are these. Look, in the picture, all the ossicles of the inner ear are shown on a finger. And here you can see the actual bones we represented in the picture. The conservation of this material is fantastic. Actually, we've extracted molecules like DNA and protein, and the collagen was sequenced in such a way that it was important in phylogenetical terms. I mean, in regard to the relationships you can establish between different species of those animals. More bones of this collection. Here in these boxes we have some claws, vertebra, broken humerus that will have to be reconstructed, mandible, look at the teeth in position, a mandible. All of these belong to ground sloths. But at the same time there are other species represented here, and among them the most interesting are glyptodons. Here we can see a piece of the carapace. Glyptodons are heavily armored animals, closely related to modern armadillos, and they they have this very heavy armor with characteristic patterns on them that are useful for identifying the several species that are found. The size of these animals was about a small car, and some of them, not this species but some others that are found here, have a tail that is ankylosed in a sort of medieval, gigantic medieval club that was probably used by the animals to fight each other or against enemies. Actually, some of the carapaces are found to have been dented, to have possibly received very heavy blows by those gigantic tails. It is a common cliché that vertebrate paleontologists are robust men with beard and long hair that work on very big bones. Well, I'm sorry, this is 100% your prejudice. But there are many other examples that you see in this video and in many others. Paleontologists, vertebrate paleontologists, not always have beard. Actually, some people in our team are beardless. And they work also on smaller bones and on other subjects that are very interesting to paleontology. But here you are. You have to be strong to work with giant mammals in South America. On this table we work on the preparation, because even that special preservation the bones show deserve to be treated, the bones I mean, they deserve to be treated in the most appropriate way, so they can belong to humanity. They are kept in a collection for the joy of this generation and many more in the future. Here is the place where we prepare the fossils. We use paraloid and other substances. We take very carefully all the sediment off the bones, or teeth in this case. By the way, look at the teeth. They are very special. Those are not they may belong, they may resemble some of the big carnivores that were here at the same time, like the saber tooth, the largest saber tooth known, but no, those are they belong to sloths. This caniniform. It's not called canine because we are not sure it's equivalent to the canine of other mammals, so we call it caniniform. And well, many other bones are being prepared right now in this thing that in times that are not those of the pandemic, we have in this time is always is teeming of people working here. But in this occasion, we are very glad to show you what we do, show you the spectacularity of the material we study and the effort we take to conserve this patrimony for the Uruguayan society particularly, but for the humankind in general. I'd be very glad if I could answer all the questions you may want to ask. Bye-bye.